And so the past can be accounted for if you have insurance. You can get anything insured. The future is also able to be accounted for by taking out a patent, and you can patent anything. But in the current time, how is that able to be accounted for? The King of England wants all the money in the world to be put towards handling carbon, and not even that would fix an accounting for the present, for the king. But the reason why is that Earth is a carbon-based planet. So it's the same as trying to count as many points as you can on a line, whereas the closer you look, the more points there are going to be. There are infinite amount of points in a line. So, not to mention that you're also a carbon-based structure. And so you could play a game if you get different planets. You know, no one's gonna see more than one planet in a lifetime if you're lucky. But you can understand the different planets, what they're made up of, and calculate and compare two lines as opposed to just trying to count points in one. And that might be a way of accounting for a present. At least you'll have a derivative. There's so many different things when you're taking supplements, and some of them are attuned to video games where their codes have been written. Because some codes are good and others are bad, and supplements, if they're not mixed right, how good they are initially can be deduced into garbage. The difference in resemblance can equate to an entire trove of reasons why bad things could occur or why you feel good for no reason. It's really important how complex a diet is, where the things that are inside your stomach have been digesting, and then they're laid inside the cell walls that have been laid in there since the first time you ingested anything as a fetus. Whether that is allocated through the cells that are alive or the ones that are passed on, it's undoubtedly a chain that has been there in synchronicity, ongoing in the form where information is never lost, not even in a black hole. Its event horizon keeps it, which is what cell walls articulate to each other in a firewall. But when you're adding in a supplement, it's exchanging something extreme on its other end, and this is two things that are met with any daily consumptions as the third tier intertwine. And so God made all the particles so that they wouldn't get lazy and then start forming atoms that had like a trend that would build up and have like some other things bend in the will and try and reinvent a will to have an uprising, that of which is not natural. It's the same as George Washington said, anyone who's trying to like hire a hierarchy to own nature is a tyrant. And I know all the stuff I'm saying is kind of hard to follow because it's super complex, and then I'm speaking it as if I was in third grade. You know, when someone writes down a paragraph, it can be deducted, well, this is meant for like high schoolers. That what is the Declaration of Independence written as high school level literature. But when someone's talking, the amount of cognition and audibility that I prescribe is something like a third grader's, but the stuff that I'm covering is so abstract. It's what boggles graduate workers, graduate degree. It would get graduate degrees caught up in apprenticeship work that isn't even complete. And so it's just a mesh of like how pistons pop up and down. And I think that is weird surface tension that when NOS is induced, it's like the buildup of a double jump. Weird surface tension is kind of hard to explain, so that's why I'm going to do it right now. If you have a whole bunch of cows together and then some of them try going like in a path of least resistance, all the cows trying to stay together are going to bump into each other, and the one finding an open gap in the path of least resistance, as it's going through that gap, it's going to get bumped by all the cows inside of the cluster. And so what Mark Zuckerberg is doing in Facebook is he's opening these glasses that show a reflection of your face and your expression of what you're trying to portray in front of your eyes, so that everyone can see your face of the expression you want to have in front of them. And it sounds really nerdy and like self-oriented for things that aren't apparent. But apparently that's what in definition of the emoji would do. It's just he's trying to advance it. And I had this experience earlier in my vehicle. And if you do this just as blatantly as he is, it's undermining the art in unsecure obscurity. What I mean by this is, of course, going down a road, there was a sign that says Vernon, and it is a song called Vermin. And this is like a negative thing, so I was like blinker at that sign to the right, to the person who I didn't like. And I felt like I was Mark Zuckerberg doing his thing. But in any case, envelopes are real, and in wind resistance inside of the front windshield, it isn't going in front because of the windshield. But then when you open up the sunroof, it's a weird surface tension that the stuff that wasn't going through envelopes around, and you feel the temperament of the glass withstanding, circulating through the sunroof, and I could feel it on my eyeballs and my face. All of the wind resistance that wasn't getting through directly was bumping into each other and circling through the sunroof and grabbing. It's like a negative vacuum that I felt, but it was a little bit extra. And since I was looking forward at the windshield, I could actually feel the resistance there entering from the sunroof and circulating onto me. Someone's like, I'm not accustomed to your liberty. And then the other person's like, well, you would be hard pressed to be. The effectiveness of efficiency, I know what they're trying to do. They can't get a quantum computer like in Marvel with Thanos' glove. And so by undermining the efficiency of an environment, you're able to find paths of least resistance and then govern them as if you did have a quantum computer like Thanos' glove. And I'm not belittling nanotech, nanoparticles, all of it. Perhaps it's just not being done right. It's like a staple. Well, when someone invented hot glue, the staple kind of phased out for things. But if someone invents something that's easier than hot glue guns where you don't have to get burned, it'd be just that much better than both of them. So if you decide how to make something better in an energy form that's provided out that can be better than a battery, that'd be probably through a nano thing. When it's part of the saying is the devil's in the detail. You take one look at Mark Zuckerberg's eyes when their pupils are dilated. And that's why timing belts are so important. It's like there's a virtual world where Mark Zuckerberg's trying to investigate holographics, but you put on the VR goggles, it's half-assed. A timing belt is the real deal, where it's an algorithm of your car. See, I felt the road resistance coming in from the sunroof that was beating on the front of the windshield because the entire car was cutting the half of it. The relation in half, I felt it because I was in tune with my car in a feng shui. Where it's like you can put a fisheye lens onto a camera and watch a video and pretend like you're under the ocean, or you can go under the ocean, and then all it's gonna do is just create an arena where people get so mad if you get their grass ruined because that's all they have, and then the lady is gonna go, but you ruined our bushes.